This has Avs fans fired up as the first 6 players of each team's national roster for the Olympics have been named, and to no surprise, there are several Avs on the list that are already confirmed to be in the 2026 Olympics in Milan, Italy. That is just so amazing to see. If you guys remember that awesome Four Nations tournament that happened just basically 6 months ago, I cannot wait to see this run it back. Team USA, Team Canada rematch, give it to me all day. We're going to break down what this means for the Avs, just how many of our great players are in the Olympics, and really just how it shakes out for international competition, because this is definitely a thing that transcends the Avs, and it's just so much fun to talk about this high level of hockey where you have such talent at every level on each roster. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so much fun to watch. We're going to cover all of that on this episode of Avs Digest. But before we do, we got to tidy up some business, all right? I got to make you take your vitamins. I got to point out that 92.3% of you guys aren't actually subscribed, and you absolutely want to be. We love to see you guys become part of our community. Just keep on growing our little corner of hockey psychos, and we love to just give you guys all the news and just chat with you. So it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and I promise you won't regret it. But enough yapping, let's get into really the meat and potatoes. So we saw that 4 Avs have been already named to their each respective nation's roster. The way it worked was actually we're going to get more players announced for each respective nation as time goes on, but the first 6 for each nation was announced just a few days ago. And Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, to no surprise, were named to Team Canada. Gabe Landeskog was named to Team Sweden, and Martin Necas was named to Czechia. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. I always get it confused. I promise it's not an indictment on you guys. My 5% Czechia audience. But yeah, and this was an interesting thing that also Stefano Rubino also pointed out. He said that already we have several members of the Avs top 6. That's 3 out of the 6 right there already competing at the highest level for their nation. And absolutely expect Devon Toews to be a part of it. He was in the Four Nations tournament and Canada won. And Devon Toews was great with Cale Makar. So they're absolutely going to have Devon Toews there too. Arturi Lehkonen undoubtedly is going to be part of Team Finland's roster, and Brock Nelson has a high chance of also making Team USA. So that is several players across the entire national tournament. So tune into whatever team you guys want as fans. There's a good chance there's one of our players playing on it, and that just makes it all the more fun to see them combine with other players you know around the league. I mean, Martin Necas competing with David Pastrnak is going to be awesome. You get Arturi Lehkonen with his old friend Mikko Rantanen. Of course, Sebastian Aho. That's always going to be fun. And Brock Nelson on Team USA. I'm Team USA at heart because I'm from the USA. But honestly, it's going to be hard to pick between them and Team Canada. And it's just going to be such a fun tournament in general. Now, if we look at the roster for last year, you also have the potential for a whole lot of fun on Team Canada. This is really when we get into the speculation of who's going to be here. I mean, obviously, Devon Toews is most likely going to be here. This was just last year at the Four Nations face-off. There are several guys that probably aren't here either. I mean, Sam Bennett, Conn Smythe winner. Congratulations, the Florida Panthers, on winning the Stanley Cup, by the way. Sam Bennett is absolutely going to be on this Olympic roster. There is no question, especially because they brought him in, I think, in the last game of the last Four Nations tournament against the USA, and Sam Bennett scored. So there's no way you can leave that guy off the roster. In terms of what we're looking at for goaltending, however, this is where I want to point out that Mackenzie Blackwood probably also makes the Olympics as well. So not only are our defensemen going, our forwards as well, most of them, except Val Nichushkin, sorry, had to be left out of the party, but most likely our goalies. And again, sorry to Scott Wedgwood, probably going to have to be left behind too, although I'm sure he'll love to spend time with his kids during the break. But if you look, this is actually the conversation that was had pretty much right after the Four Nations roster was released. They obviously announced that Aiden Hill, Binnington, and Montembeault were going to be the goalies for Team Canada. Well, then a lot of people pointed out you couldn't really change the goaltending. So earlier in the season, or later in the season, there were 3 goalies that were literally better than the 3 that they chose. So they're absolutely going to have a ton of time to run it back. And I wouldn't be surprised if Team USA didn't pick their goaltenders until like at least halfway through the season. And then finally announced that, yeah, we're going to go with these guys that are looking good for this season. And I would expect Blackwood to be right there. I mean, Team Canada's biggest weakness, I would say, is definitely their goaltending. But when you guys got guys like Darcy Kemper, who is super solid all the time, Mackenzie Blackwood is basically the same. Logan Thompson is an interesting one because his play definitely started to decrease during the end of the regular season. But however, if he's having another good time, you could see him be there. I would also book it that Jordan Binnington would probably return to this roster. Obviously, he won with Team USA, or sorry, not USA. He beat Team USA. He won with Team Canada, and there's also a bit of a situation where it's kind of a nepotism thing going on. I think Jordan Binnington knows a few guys, and they're very closely tight-knit with the management group, so the management group likes Binnington anyway, and because Binnington won, it's kind of a hard argument to say he shouldn't be playing for Team Canada, and honestly, it's a good argument. Now, one thing I also wanted to point out was just how much fun each roster is going to be. You see at every level. If you guys missed the 4 Nations last time, I just want to point out, what were you doing? You should always be watching this type of tournament. It is so much fun at every level. Each line, I mean, look at how it's projected. Obviously, this wasn't the line. They just kind of mixed it, however. But you got Nathan MacKinnon, who has a bit of chemistry with Travis Konecny, so that could be an interesting thing. You see plenty of guys always having chemistry with each other. The friendship between MacKinnon and Mitch Marner is always fun to see. However, Mitch Marner might not even be a Leaf this time next season. And he probably won't be at all. So it's going to be fairly interesting to see how a lot of these players shake out. I mean, Braden Point, I think they announced it already for the Team Canada, but it's Braden Point and it's Nathan MacKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, of course, and Cale Makar as well. Oh, and Sam Reinhart. And all of those guys are extremely fascinating in how they play. We saw some pretty good line connection with MacKinnon and Reinhart. Sidney Crosby was awesome with MacKinnon. And then McDavid and Braden Point were actually electric together. They combined for several highlight reel goals. It was fantastic to watch. And honestly, if you guys are a hockey fan in general, this is the tournament I recommend watching. You might look at the shot counter and you say, 25 shots each for each team. This is a really slow game. No, it is so clogged up, so physical, and so much fun. The Tkachuk brothers returning and wrecking havoc on other teams is going to be a lot of fun as well. You could also see several other players make their entrances because Team USA lost last year, and a lot of the criticism was guys like Vincent Trocheck, guys like JT Miller didn't make a huge impact. Could you see a kid like Wyatt Johnston make a return and debut in the Team USA? Wyatt Johnston is clutch in the playoffs. He's a very good point producer. I don't see why not bring the kid. You got guys that are in the works. Zeev Boyum, Brock Faber, that both play for the Minnesota Wild. Fantastic up-and-coming defensemen. They have enough good season. Could they make it in? There are so many narratives to see. USA with its wealth of good goalies, its wealth of great defensemen, and good forwards as well. Probably not as good as Canada's elite, scary offense. And Canada has some great defenders as well. Cale Makar, as we all know, and the goaltending is a little bit shaky. However, with Blackwood in net, I don't think it will at all. Let me know what you guys think about the current Olympics. Definitely a different video than what I usually do. I think it was awesome to talk about an international tournament like this and get a little bit higher elevated than the just Avs world. But let me know if you guys like this format. I definitely liked making it. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.